What's up, everyone? It is your girl Gel Beauty 87 here, aka Grace, and today I got another awesome collab to do with my girl wDionLuvsMakeup here on YouTube. So today we're gonna be ranking all the Nomad palettes, and of course y'all know I shout to the high heavens every 5 minutes that I review a Nomad palette that you need to use code Dion when you buy from Nomad Cosmetics. So who better to do this video with than Dion herself? If you love tan girl friendly things, she's another option other than Karen Harris, who I speak about a lot as well. So go over and check out Dion's video along with subscribing to Dion's channel, because anything you want to know about Nomad, she gives thorough, detailed videos about Nomad. She has several videos on every single palette from them, just about, and I believe she has just about every single palette from them. So with that being said, she will be the best resource for you if you love Nomad just as much as she does. Now, without further ado, let's get into this video. So I got 9 palettes to talk about. I did not get the Hudson Valley palette just because we know I'm not a warm tone girl by any means. As you can see, I don't know what's going on right now with this whole neutral situation. I had to rush off to work, so that's what this is. Plus, I'm going to play with the Nearly Natural palette some more from Glaminatrix. Random side note. But anyway, that's what's going on with the eyes. If anyone was curious, I have on Power Suit from Vive. I think it's Vive Beauty or Vive Cosmetics. You can buy it from Collab Beauty or you can buy it from her website. She's this YouTuber on here named Genevieve. Without further ado, I'm going to get into these palettes. Like I said, I got 9 of them. One of them I actually was thinking about decluttering after I do this video just because it's my least favorite of all of them. So, of course, it's going to be number 9. So, number 9 is the America's Parks palette. Now, it's just, I feel like they have way better color stories than this one, and that's why I said literally at the very bottom for me, because this is the one that I'm least likely to reach for. I mean, I know it has some greens, and it has this cute little purple section, but it's like, it has a good amount of warm tones, and since I just said I'm not really into warm tones, the last thing I want is a whole bunch of warm tones. Not that this is a whole bunch, like the majority of the palette is still cool tones, so that works. It's just, this is my least favorite out of all the palettes I've bought from them so far, so that's why I got pulled down to number 9. It's mainly the color story. It never has anything to do with any of the formulas that they have. Well, except for the palettes is number 8, but you'll see why it's number 8 in a second. So this is number 9, and there you go. So number 8 is the Tokyo palette, or the Harajuku palette. So the reason this is number 8, I love the color story of this over obviously number 9, which is why I said I don't like it as much. The formula number 9 to me is better though. That's because I feel like a lot of these shades that they use in this palette were satin. Now I do love a pastel MoMA, but because these feel to be more like a satin matte type finish when it comes to the mattes in the palette, I don't like it as much, but I love the color story more, and the shimmers in here is what brought it higher. These shimmers right here at the bottom are absolutely stunning, lovely, wonderful. Like, these are great inner corner highlights, or just, you know, like great lid shades with other tones in here, because at the end of the day I can use these darker tones to just put these shimmers on the lid, or I can make this work if I need to. It's just, I don't like the mattes in this palette, but I like the color story of this palette, and the shimmers are what brought it to number 8. So it's nothing to, this is the only one that I say formula wise I'm not crazy about, but otherwise, you know, everything is fine. So number 7 is the one that actually made me start buying from is the first palette I ever bought from Nomad Cosmetics. This is the Orient Express palette. I saw this on some girl's Poshmark for like 25 bucks, and I had been wanting to try this brand for a while, but I was like, I don't know about the price point. So what I'll do sometimes, I'll buy it secondhand from somebody. She'd only use the palette I think like once or twice, and then decide if I want to buy it or not. So I really like the color story of this one. Y'all know I'm not feeling the fact that that's like 3 of these bone colored shades, but I'm like, this one seems to be like one of those sequin shades. I feel like we could have taken a couple of these out though, because it's like you have this one and you have this one, and then you have this white one on top. I feel like all those were needed, but otherwise I like the color story just fine. And this one actually worked better on my skin tone than I thought it was going to. I've never used this one or this one, but it blended into my skin tone way better than I expected it to. I just really love the uniqueness of this palette. I feel like they always capture whatever location it is pretty well, and this is what started my love of Nomad. So number 7 is my Orient Express. Now number 6, I actually have been using quite a lot this summer and love. Spoiler alert, it's one of their newer palettes. However, my issue with this palette, and I said it in the video when I reviewed this, and when I say this, I feel like if you're a true follower of mine, you know which one it is before I show it. This is the what do you call it? The Paradise Islands palette. Now, I told y'all that this to me is too, sorry, let me open it up. This is too mid-tone for my liking. I mean, I have this darker green and this darker blue, but it's like I have nothing to pair with any of these pinks unless I'm gonna do a dark green and pink moment. I have done that. I did that recently with my remade Millennial palette from Melt. I'm excited about their holiday collection random side note. But I really like this palette. I actually paired it a lot with the palettes you'll see higher up on the list that they came out with over the summer too. But this one just didn't do it for me because of the lack of deeper tones. But I liked it enough and I used it enough this summer that I felt like it should be higher up than the other palettes we just talked about. So this is number 6. Now my top 5 are gonna I feel like they shouldn't be surprising just based upon the color stories I normally like and the stuff I normally like. So I know you're not gonna be surprised when you see the top 5. Now you might be surprised at the top 3 or maybe the order in which the 5 are put in, but that's pretty much it. We're gonna go over to me in the future now because I had lost the footage of this first part, which is why I had to refilm it, because I had told Dion I wanted to do the collab and I was like, the last thing I need to do is like put up another version of it and not have what I was supposed to have on it. So I was like, let me go ahead and just refilm it. Plus I had a couple other videos to film. So in the future I have a whole different eye look, but that's okay, girl. Okay, we're gonna get into top 5. Okay, y'all, so number 5 is the Whistler Snow Lodge. So this is what the color story looks like. Y'all know this is definitely a me type of color story. I got some grungy tones in here. Got the blues, got some greens. They got this nice little fiery section for the people who like warm tones, if you will. But to me, this is more of a cool tone palette. Like, if you cover this up, I feel like it's giving all the cool tone feels and vibes that I need in life. And I'm here for it. I'm loving it. But that's a nice little warm tone section for if you're feeling the warm, fiery vibes. And I just thought it was a gorgeous color story. I thought the formula of it worked really nicely. And that's why I put it so high up, because I'm really in love with this color story. So that is number 5. Number 4 is Haunted Europe. As you can see, the lady's face changes when you like turn it, but what it looks like on the inside. Another warm tone, cool tone one, but again, you got all your I guess cool tones here, if you will. I covered up the cool tones so you can see the warm tones, and now we have a nice little cool tone section here, if you will. I really like this palette. This was the first kind of like warm tone, cool tone, like experimented more in deeper tones, I felt like, that they did. And of course I was here for it because y'all know I love a deep smoky outer V, and I like a nice smoky eye. So I like the fact that I could do a cool like bluish purple smoky eye, or have like a nice little warm tone moment here again if I want it. And then I have my greens, and then if I have to rush out the house to do something really quick and I'm forced to use warm tones, I feel like these were acceptable warm tones, for lack of a better term. Plus I can just do this and this really quick and have a cool, like me sort of I guess everyday wearable acceptable look that people use neutrals for, because again, we know I don't use neutrals, so I don't know what they're for. But I really like this palette for that. The color story is just really something special to me, which is why I got to be so high up. Now number 3 was my number 1 for a good little while, so they came out with the last 2 I showed you. So this is the Iceland Fire and Ice palette. When they first came out with this, I was like, okay, Nomad, come through. As you can see, I have my cool tone blues and whatnot. They gave you this nice purple and bluish purple, and then they gave you a little warm tone section. And I love the fact that the little gnome is on the or the elf is sitting on top of one of the blue shades. I thought that was so cute. But this was my favorite palette from Nomad for like a good little minute. I can't even lie. Like, this was my favorite one. I love the color story of this, but there was a couple other ones that came out this year that I like even more than this one. Because like I said, they just evolve and get better and better and better over time. So this is my number 3, my Iceland palette. It got knocked down to number 3, child, because these other 2 that came out this year killed it. So number 2 is the Province palette. I just liked how unique and fun this color story was. I feel like I have a similar color story in my collection though. Like, if you take out the yellows, it looks really similar to another palette I own. I can't remember the name of it. I swear when I was at home I had pulled it out and I meant to bring it to like compare for a main chick side chick, because y'all know how I do, but I couldn't find it. But I really just love the color story of this. Like, I feel like people don't usually do like blues and purples like this, so that's why I was mainly loving the fact that this silverish like bluish shade here, and then the purples that they chose in this palette, I just really love them a lot. Plus the shifting green and yellow sparkles in this shade right here make it really nice. And then you have these nice like pink tones, so I feel like these pinks and purples go together nicely. And then the yellow is perfect for the inner corner. Like, the look I did, I really loved and thought was stunning. I definitely want to play with this palette some more. So number 2 is Province. So of course that means y'all know the Costa Rica palette is #1. Yes, honey, I have done so many looks with this palette. I think I've done it like at least 3 or 4. And I've done a few looks with, like I said, with it and the Paradise palette together. Like, this color story to me is just so cool and fun and scattered all over the place. But it's scattered where it like makes sense to me. Where I can, you know, like come up with a look. If you all have seen, I've come up with at least 2 looks on YouTube for y'all. Then I did a couple of looks combining this with the Paradise Island palette. So like I said, I've done about 4 looks with this just this summer, and I haven't even had it that long. So that shows you how much I like this palette. I like to combine this with the Vitality palette from Untitled Cosmetics as well. This is just an overall gorgeous palette. I'm so happy to have it in my collection. So #1 is Costa Rica. So did you guess my top 5? Because I feel like with some of them y'all should have been able to know just because of the color stories I like. I mean, look at what I have on my eyes right now. That shows that I like these sorts of colors, and I feel like some of the colors that you see on my eyes now, you saw in some of those palettes. But FYI, if you're curious what's on my eyes right now, I probably should have did this at the beginning, but you know, if you're still here, then you get to find out. I have on the Lethal Cosmetics Velvet Dust palette. I love that palette for fall, and I was about to pull out some palettes to use for fall in addition to using the new stuff I have. So I decided to use this today. And I must say, girlfriend got it going on. Lethal killed it with this eyeshadow. So those are all my palettes from Nomad, and Lethal is what's on my eyes right now. So I hope you all enjoyed this video. Remember, you all the diamonds. Comment down below and let me know if you guessed my top 5 or at least my top 3, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Be blessed, girl. Bye.